Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Thank you. First order, we have no old business, new business, we have a resignation. Mr. Rice. As soon as I find it here. You have it in your packets, Belgrade 2 Belgrade Select Board. I'm officially resigning my elected position on the Select Board as of March 18th, 2018. I have concerns for my health, and as I believe that the town manager has taken unacceptable actions and the Select Board has ignored its charge to make sure established policies are followed. I have been totally loyal to the taxpayers, and ignoring policies, bylaws is simply unacceptable. Thank you for making my day. You truly did me a big favor. Ernest Rice, 1/10/2018. Signed by Mr. Rice. Is there a motion to accept?
I make a motion.
And a second? Move and second, we accept that. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 3. All those opposed? 1. And 1 abstention. Along the same line, we have to do an expedited nomination process. The selectmen of the town of Belgrade hereby give notice that they have ordered pursuant to 30A MRSA 2528-4E that a short nomination process be used to fill a vacancy on the Board of Selectmen. The nomination papers will be available on January 18, 2018. Signed nomination papers must be returned to the town office by 4:30 January 30th. Any questions regarding the nomination shall be directed to the town clerk. We had to do that because of the time frame. So can I get a motion to accept that?
Can I ask a question? Well, go ahead. I'll
Yeah.
make a motion
Yeah.
to accept it first.
And a second? Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when's the election gonna be?
It'll take place at the same time. The process has to be, we have to approve a shortened process.
So you actually go looking for somebody before somebody's done?
Yeah, that's not a problem. Once the nomination, or once the resignation is put in and voted on, then you can go ahead and, yes. You can
I've been
fill it.
hemming and hawing about this because I didn't think we could do that.
Yeah, we can do that.
We did it with Bruce.
You can't take office till the 18th.
Yeah, it won't take office till the 18th, but
Okay.
it's elected at the same time.
Thank you, that answered my question.
Okay, any more discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? All those opposed? 1 abstention. Okay. Treasurer's quarterly update. Melanie, you have an update for us.
I do. Anybody have any questions on the paper that I sent out? We're under 100%.
Only a couple of them, right? Facilities is one?
The whole budget was under 100%, but yeah, we went over 100% for facilities.
For facilities only?
For facilities only.
Okay.
It was 100.61.
Any more questions, gentlemen?
Let's see.
Just as a comment, we're watching the undesignated fund right now very closely. We'll have to go out with a tandem, as we do every year. Probably some point in time in mid-February is what we're estimating. We have to keep 30 to 90 days funds on hand. So we figure we'll get down to 30 to 40 days sometime in mid-February. We'll start the process and move it forward rather quickly, so then that'll be available for us.
Any more discussion? Thank you, Melanie. Wonderful job. Next order of business, application for bingo licenses. The Friends of Belgrade Library and the Belgrade Fire and Rescue Association both have submitted applications for bingo.
Don't they do that together?
Yes.
They do have to get up to each other.
Yeah, and they did it together, actually.
Okay. I'll make a motion we accept them.
Move we accept it. Is there a second?
You're voting on one or two.
Both of them, same thing.
Is there a second? Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the bingo licenses? Seeing none, all those in favor? Unanimous. There's an application for Library Board of Trustees, two of them. Diane Dowd and Wayne Farnham.
We just got that one in. Did you have a third?
Is there a third?
No, it's doing.
No, that's fine. I sent it as an attachment to him, but I didn't have a chance to bring the paper copy up today.
Just look at your-
They don't
I
have
think that we
renewals.
do this every year, so if I remember right.
Well,
Well, for their-
Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I'm on the wrong, we do it every year thing. These are both renewals.
Yes, they are.
I'll make a motion, we accept the first one,
Is there a second? Move to second, we accept the first one.
which is Diane.
Diane Dow. Any discussion? All those in favor? Unanimous?
I'll make a motion, oh, go ahead.
make a motion to accept Dwayne.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? We do have a warrant. There are two warrants, that's all. And Mr. Barrett, would you read the warrants, please? Here it is.
Here's the first one.
Here's the first one. Here's the second.
Okay, warrant number 5 for $679,047.94.
I'll make the motion.
Any discussion on that warrant?
I had it,
Ricky?
I didn't bring my paper. And I- There was two places, there was ice melting, right here.
Ice melt,
Yes, on, check number 16634. On page number 4 of it, which is, looks like it went to facilities, the price was $32. Then you go to the back page, it looks like it went to facilities again, and it's only $20.98.
Ken purchased ice melt, and they sent it in 2 different orders, but because there were 2 different invoice numbers, I put it in separately to track the invoice numbers.
the price is.
But is it a different price?
It was a different price, he ordered 2 once, I think, and 1 the next time. There ended up being like $10.99 a thing, I checked it.
So they were the same price per bag,
Right.
it's just that he
It
ordered
was
two.
different amounts of bags.
Yeah.
That don't add up right, but let me, I added this, and this is why I said, I kind of figured that might be the story. Because that one would come out to $40 and I just replaced it. The other one was $32. So that don't add up. I know it's peanuts, but
Well, no,
it didn't make any sense when I said it. Maybe the price of it, I don't know.
What was the first one? $10.99 for 3.
$10.99 a bag, 3 bags is,
Okay, that makes sense.
and
we
then,
got it.
Yeah, it didn't say how many bags, that's why I questioned it. Okay?
Any more discussion on that
I
warrant?
don't think I had anything else.
It has been moved and seconded. All those in favor of accepting that warrant? And it's 5-0. Second warrant, Mr. Barrett. This one right here is a short one. You've got it over there.
Warrant 157 for $9,963.77.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. Any discussion on that warrant? Seeing none, all those in favor? And it's 5-0. That takes care of the 2 warrants. Town manager.
okay, just a few updates. I have the contract for the Humane Society of Waterville area, for the year 2018, beginning on 1/1, January 1st. I just wanted to let you know that they've requested quarterly payments I'll be signing the contract, but it's a total of roughly $4,400 and $1,200 a quarter. So, if you have any questions on that, I can.
What was that again?
It's the Humane Society annual contract. I talked a little bit to you last week about the Board of Appeals receiving a request to again look at the slope districts, and I said I was going to get an opinion from our town attorney because the MA attorney had already said that this needed to go to, in the previous case, needed to go to the planning board for an amendment to the ordinance. He reviewed it initially thinking that the MMA attorney was wrong, but then he found out there were several cases that essentially requires that if the map for the slope district is part of the ordinance, then that ordinance actually has to be amended. So this will be taken up at a planning board meeting on February 8th. I'll be notifying the applicant, the appellant. And essentially what they'll be doing is drafting a letter very similar to the one that Jay Bradshaw as chair drafted last year, sending it back to the planning board. Okay. I reported that we had foreclosed on 8 properties. I had the assessor go out and look at the properties. There were 4 of those properties were actually trailers that were no longer in place. So we're looking into the process for that. My understanding is that we would have to declare those as uncollectible taxes. He's had this happen before in other towns. Actually, before trailers moved, they're supposed to report it. They didn't. The trailers are gone. There's really no way we can prove what about those trailers. So we're looking into whether we have to abate it or just declare all 4 years uncollectible, and we'll bring that to you the first board meeting in February. I sent out a request for the town of Belgrade to look at adopting a climate change resolution. It's from the Mid-Maine Climate Change Group. I sent it out a couple times. I'd forgotten that I'd sent it out at one time. But I'll put that on the board next week if you want it to go on the agenda. I don't know. It's up to you guys, really. It's a request for the town of Belgrade to adopt this climate change resolution.
What's it gonna do for us? I couldn't see if it's gonna do a thing.
Well,
I mean, probably not much.
it depends on what you do with it.
Yeah, that's right. I know what I'm gonna do with it.
Well, I mean, we don't have to put it on the agenda, or you.
Budget, is there something that's written up?
Oh, yeah, it's all, I sent an email with the documentation to it. It talks about the reasons for it, what the resolution says. The town of Fairfield apparently is the one town that actually adopted the resolution. I don't know if anyone else has. We're trying to get a coalition of towns to adopt it. The issue is probably one that it may bring out a lot of people, pro and con, you know, I mean, your reaction is the one that we might hear. A favorable reaction might, so it's one of those things that could receive a lot of discussion. It's just, it was a request, and I bring it forward to you.
Yeah, if you have, I put it in and just
Okay.
look it over, and if it
That's-
makes any sense, and we'll
Okay.
vote on it.
In all probability, it does more for the Mid-Maine organization than it does for the town of Belgrade.
Yeah,
That's
And that they have more towns backing
yeah,
it.
it's just like that school choice thing.
Exactly.
I just know what we'd gain out of it. Something else to.
You're gonna make one too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yes, we have a question?
Is there a way I could look at that?
Well, it's right here, yes.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah,
I'll look
you
at it
can-
afterwards.
Yeah, here.
Thank you.
Or I can send it to you.
The email would be great. Thank you. Or I can grab a copy, whatever.
I think I have your email, so.
Okay.
Okay, there's that. Kathy Sears, who has served on the Transfer Station and Recycling Committee, is resigning for personal reasons. And she wanted to thank everyone on the Recycling Committee for all that she's learned. I don't know if you have done it recently. I know we used to send out certificates of appreciation to board members that serve. If you want, I can get one prepared for, we can prepare it for all 4 of you to sign, or to have the chairman sign, either way you want to know it.
Yeah.
I really, I think it was for more than a couple of years. I just didn't.
She was pretty active on that board, I think. That's
I
what
think she was
was.
secretary, I think.
Yeah.
A letter of appreciation we do in that, when we have anyways.
Okay, so it's an appreciation like that. We have the letter okay, good. Do you want all four to sign, or do you want the chairman set up to sign, or I said
I
four.
like all four, all five.
Is this standard procedure for every committee?
Well, that's what I would like to start, for
Start,
those that you would like to.
'Cause I know we've had
I think we had 3 years and 5 years.
We had a-
Yeah, longer than these, one term, they used to have a plaque or something.
Yeah.
we had a member on the library board that served a long time and moved out of Belgrade.
Yeah.
And the library board was sending him a card, but you know, maybe this would be a nice gesture too.
Yeah.
When you turn 75, you got a whole drawer full. Things like
If you're
that.
lucky.
I break them out periodically and stuff, try to remember where they came from.
Try not to break it down, pat your shoulder.
Yeah, that's right.
Is this paper?
Bring that up to Thank you. I've got a draft of testimony for LD 1629, and I want to go over it again. I just got to review some things, and I'll be sending it out to you. This LD 1629 is for protecting elderly citizens from the foreclosure, or to improve the lien foreclosure process to protect elderly citizens. So you had asked me to prepare some testimony, I did. That testimony, the hearing is January 25th at 1 o'clock. If someone wants to present the testimony, it's fine, or I can, or if I don't get a chance to go, I can always send it into, it all depends on what, I don't know what's coming up that day. Actually, I think I've got a meeting, but we can take care of it one way or another, it's up to you guys. I sent the LD1 article out to you folks. If you have any questions about it, just, I mean, the LD1 article is an estimate of where you might be at the end of the year, not knowing what you're really going to receive in a number of areas at the beginning of the year. We don't know what we're going to receive for revenue, what is that, revenue? Revenue sharing, revenue sharing, and some other things. So I did my best looking, and I sent you the table that showed you how I estimated and all that. It showed that we were roughly 54, I think, thousand over the LD1 limitation that's established by the formula. That's then you would have to vote to accept the LD1. To exceed the LD1.
But that would
The voters would have to vote on that, don't they?
At the town meeting.
After everything's
After everything's gone through. And we'll know whether or not you actually have to vote on it, because there are a number of things that may or may not pass, you don't know. So that would be the process. I just wanted to let you know that we finally got through that. I didn't go back and rework some of the previous years. It's hard for you to kind of estimate what's going to go forward. So when you work, I have 8 names for Spirit of America Award so far. 7 are from the Friends of the Belgrade Public Library. They were put in by Judy Johnson. And I've got 1 for Drew Astlin. Drew Astlin does the Neighborhood Community Watch. He puts it up on Facebook. It's a really good local service. You get news, if you sign up for it, you get news, whatever's going on. People pass out information and stuff. And then there's just an information exchange amongst 5 communities as well. So we'll be putting her in for that. If there are any other Spirit of America awards that anyone wants people to receive, I should get those probably before the end of February, because they don't have to go into anything but the certificate we produce. Once you guys approve all of them. Okay, there were a couple issues that I didn't get to sending out an email on, because I did have it in the first meeting, but there were issues that were on the warrant last week, or last board meeting. The salt and pepper shakers, that was a double order. It was just one person putting in an order.
You sent something on it.
You did, yeah.
Did I not?
Yep, you did.
The library camera, you said, no, I didn't, or did I?
I don't think so.
Okay. The library camera that they had, essentially the battery was no longer functioning well and all that, so they went and procured another light on camera.
Fine.
Okay. The 11, well, I told you about that, let me see. I guess that's everything. For some reason, I had this written down as I had reported on.
Any questions for the town manager?
No, I'm not finished.
I got one thing we got.
No, I wanted to talk about the issues with the dog rentals. I got a call from Bruce Kalush today. He had been down, he was wondering how the change was made where, it used to be the town filled the tanks up there, fuel oil, and they got the benefit of the town pricing. But apparently, that was changed right before I came. The lease was changed, so they had to purchase their own fuel oil, because I don't believe the renters could actually take advantage of that pricing. It's a state issue. So the lease contracts were changed so that they had to provide for their own fuel oil and everything. One of the renters in Dalton 8 is bringing in 5-gallon cans and pouring them into the thing rather than having it filled. And he's had some problems up there with some, I believe, freezing and stuff. And the other problem he had was the cellar is flooded with a 1.5 foot, a fair amount of water. I don't know exactly how much, I didn't check it out, I was busy today, but and he's, according to Bruce, he's going to, the renter is going to give me a call to see if the material that was damaged, any of his items that were damaged, were covered by the town. Now, as far as I know, we don't pay renters insurance. They should pick up their own renters insurance. And as far as the filling of the fuel oil, Bruce was saying, well, geez, having them do it that way may in fact incur more cost to the town than it should. So maybe you want to think of a different way of doing that. Now, we could increase their rent to cover the cost of fuel, et cetera. But it's one of the things I'll check into. I don't know. I'll check into what we can do, bring that back to you. But right now, the lease requires them to pay for their own fuel, electricity, and rent to us.
I would think filling it with 5-gallon cans increases the possibility of a spill and maybe even fire.
Yeah, well, there are certainly issues with that, so.
I think when we first started that, the fuel was included in the rent, am I right? I think we got told that it was illegal to be doing that the other way.
That's what Denny just said.
Well, what I understand was happening, you know, I had done a history trying to review this a while back when the new leases were given to me. What was happening was they were allowed to, we filled up the oil and asked them to pay for the oil. And the problem was we got a discount rate, and that's something that, giving that discount rate to a private citizen is something you can't do, as I understand it. And the second thing was, along with that, they weren't paying their bills on the oil. So in fact, I think we're still due $700 and some on the bill. So I think that's the reason for the lease change. They forced them to take their oil right up front.
So I'm not sure, but we ought to think this out, maybe include the oil and the rent.
And the electricity, maybe.
And the electricity,
And just,
the package deal. We've got a history on it, we know what it's gonna take.
yeah.
I mean, it isn't rocket science to figure
Well,
that out.
we probably won't be able to do that right away. We got a 1-year lease unless you want to renegotiate
I
it.
think we've got a problem up there, they're putting it in 5-gallon cans, that's.
Well, I'll be going up and talking to
Belongs to
them.
the taxpayers of this town, and that's a no-no, as far as I'm concerned.
They risk potentially freezing up if they,
Yeah.
you know, I mean, if
Oh, yeah,
it's
all
cold,
kinds of
then, I
stuff.
mean,
Well, where's the 1.5 foot of water in the basement come from? Good snow?
From the
the rain.
rain, I guess
Is that what it was? Just
the,
Well, the ground's frozen, there's no place for the water to run.
yeah, the
it's
drain
flooded.
apparently may have been applied for
Yeah.
this.
Or the drain just couldn't keep up with it. That's
Yeah.
the biggest thing.
Because the ground.
No sub-pump, I take it.
Excuse me?
Well, there probably is a sub pump, maybe, but, so
He
there
didn't
isn't.
mention
Probably
that
a
to me.
natural drain out of there.
I was on my way out of the office, I had a meeting to go to, and they called, so I just didn't get a chance to go up. I'll go up and check it out tomorrow. And I think that's it for me.
You sure? You made me go back last time.
I won't make you go back.
Any other business, Jack?
Yeah, I just had a question, if I can go back to the LD1. If a town vote is required at the end of the town meeting, and the town should vote no, then what's the process?
Then you have to reduce the budget to below the LD limitation.
Right then and there at the meeting?
That's the only, I think that's the only way you can do it. This question came up before, back years ago when it first started, and I think that was, I can check out on the answer to get it updated, and maybe there's something that's changed.
Well, no, if that's the case, it would be a good idea then to have in mind where the reduction would come from too.
Well, what we're gonna be doing at the town meeting is tracking whatever doesn't pass, and then we'll see how close we are to the limitation. It may be that things don't pass and you don't have to vote on it. If there are areas to be reduced, then we'll have to talk about that. And that certainly would be a good idea, to have that prepared in advance.
Yeah.
But we don't know what the TAN note actually will come out to be. You know, that's gonna be a reduction right there.
I think if there weren't recommendations prepared in
Oh, no,
advance,
I think that we have to do
it's
that.
a recipe for chaos.
It's a great point, and that's something we should be prepared to respond to.
Thank you.
Howard,
In looking through the warrant, I don't find an article for the Guptal Trust Fund distribution.
And I guess I didn't know that we were going to do that this year. I know we talked about it. We didn't do anything about the ductile last year. I thought we were talking about doing it next year.
No, it should be handled this year. And
Well,
I'm sorry I missed it at the other meetings, but what resolution, I mean, it's not something which has to be involved in the public hearing, so can it just be added?
yeah, we can, yeah. With a vote of the board,
I understand that.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so can that get on the
Sure,
whatever process?
sure, sure. I talked, I got your email, and I talked to Melanie, and I don't know if that's.
I didn't get any response, that's why I was bringing it up
Oh,
tonight.
I did respond,
Okay.
You did?
and both you and Dennis.
And you what?
Yes, to both of you.
I saw a response later this afternoon, I came back later today.
Okay, yeah, well, I haven't checked my email since about 2 o'clock. Okay. And the other thing was, a couple of us on the budget committee talked about putting in an article relative to the trust funds, and I guess my question is, who makes the decisions about what stuff gets put into the town report with that regard? Is that something that I should just have a conversation with you about, or with Manelli?
Yeah, I mean, what you think as the budget committee, or the person overseeing that, if you have a report that you want to present to the town in some format, that's fine, just let us know. Because if it kind of summarizes what I saw was done last week, that Jack was talking about, is that what it was? That seems like a reasonable thing to put in. I don't think that's a.
Okay, I didn't know if it had to have an official approval or
Well,
what.
I think it's a straightforward retelling of what the Bar Harbor Trust said to us, right?
Right,
Essentially, and I think the board's seen all that. So
Yeah.
the board's gonna have a look, like a lot of people will be looking at the town report in a draft review process.
okay.
So the board will get to look at that, other people are gonna get to look at that. I want as many eyes on that as possible.
Okay, it just seemed like if we did that, that the process which has been done in the past, which was just a snapshot of one of the, either 1 month or an annual P&L from the financial institution that was managing the trust, was included in the town report without a whole lot of understanding and explanation. It seemed to me that this one-page report out of the activities of the different trusts would suffice and eliminate the need to have to put in even the P&L from
I think that's a great, it simplifies it, it makes it more clear for the public to understand. We're looking for transparency in anything that we put out, so.
Right.
Jack?
Yeah, well, there are two issues. The Bar Harbor report states what's available. This summary says what's to be done with it.
Yeah, yeah.
So there are two issues that have to be covered. But this report also indicates what the starting and ending amounts are in the Bar Harbor Trust report. So,
Well, essentially, it's providing a better explanation of those funds, those trusts, right?
well, it says what's to be done with the money that the Bar Harbor
Yeah.
Trust says is
Yeah.
available.
Right. No, I get it, that's what I'm saying, it's a much better explanation than just putting in the bar in the trust.
Howard?
One other thing.
Yeah.
In
It's
looking back,
raining here.
in looking back over the decisions on policies on trusts that we went through a year ago this time. And maybe you responded, Melanie, to my question about the perpetual care entry that's in the Bar Harbor account. My question is why, what we stated was we wanted to take all the cemetery-related accounts that the cemetery committee and the town had, which was basically the cemetery fund and the perpetual care fund, and put that together as one fund and call it the Belgrade Cemetery Trust Fund. Why are we having a separate listing in the Bar Harbor account? And can we get rid of that?
I actually forwarded the email to the auditor because I didn't know
Okay,
the background of it, or if there was something that was easy enough to do, and she hasn't responded yet.
okay.
Okay, any more business? Seeing none, I entertain, we have one, do I have a second to adjourn? I have a second to adjourn. Did you have more business, Ricky?
No, I'm hemming and hawing, no, I'm fine.
I'm open for discussion.
I'm not feeling well enough to state what I want to say.
All right. All those in favor of adjourning? 5-0, thank you. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock.